that as a nation we watch too much television. We don't get out enough. We're couch potatoes. Well, today I've got it all. Television, fresh air, and a couch. This nifty motorised settee comes complete with pizza steering wheel, Coke can brake, standard lamp of course, and the television. It's even got its own unique hooter. Oh yes, this is just the thing to take me to the nutty boy I'm chasing tonight. Born in Hastings, for a while he was a teenage rebel on the streets of London. But it was music that put him on the road to fame. I found a member of one of the country's most successful bands. He and his outrageous mates dominated the charts throughout the 80s. But, like Cher and Lulu and Trigger, he himself goes by just one name. And now, to the BBC! Tonight he's on duty as team captain of a brand new music quiz on the telly. His rival is Noddy Holder, MBE, and keeping order is Jamie Theakston.
Now, listen up, everybody. Here on A Question of Pop, we've got one extra special round. Can you tell me who is this mystery guest?
Yeah, thank you. I have to say that I'm here to bring a little sanity to the proceedings and also to say that tonight, Suggs... also known as Graham McPherson, this is your life.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Welcome to our house of fun and a chorus of approval from family and friends. As lead singer of Madness and a TV regular, to your millions of fans, you are known simply as Suggs. To your mother and the taxman, though, you are still Graham McPherson. And here's the other Mrs. McPherson, your wife of 19 years, Anne, with your daughters, Scarlett and Viva. And you were a singer yourself, weren't you, with the stage name of Betty Bright?
That's right.
In fact, there you are at the mic. But at first, you and Suggs weren't quite in harmony.
No, I was dragged off to see Madness by Clive Langer, who subsequently became their producer. And I thought the band were good the first time I saw them at the Music Machine, it was in Camden. But I thought the singer was a little bit pear-shaped.
And he still is, and he still is.
I soon changed my opinion.
Since you first hit the charts in 1979, you've devoted yourself to entertaining the British nation one way or another. Let's recall some moments of madness and much more.
Is the audience ready for another nice quiet evening in?
No Summer Holiday by Cliff Richard.
Yeah. You hum it, I'll smash your face in. I'll go sit over there.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house
Down. Down now.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence.
All TV hosts have a glamorous assistant. Apart from me, I have a pop monkey.
Now let's get off on the right foot with one of my favourite personal bands. I refer to Madness.
Your latest project, The Question of Pop, sees you locking brains with that veteran of the music game, Noddy Holder. Noddy, would you say that Suggs is a success?
He is a success, yes. On Question of Pop, we lock horns. We're very competitive. And we're trying to outdo one another every week, aren't we?
And I'm outdoing
I know more about pop than he does, because I've been around a lot longer.
But my brain works more quickly.
That's very true.
Thank you, Noddy.
Cheers.
Young Mr. Holder isn't the only star to give you the nod. Here's some more of the same from Boy George and Melanie C.
Congratulations, Suggsy. Do you remember the fight I had with your wife, Betty, in 1979? I was coach check girl at the Blitz Club and she pulled my beads off. We rolled around on the floor for about 10 minutes. Anyway, for about 10 years I thought you were going to beat me up, so every time I saw you I used to run. I used to think you were tough, you big girl's blouse. Madness is one of the best bands to come out of this country ever, and you really deserve this. Have fun tonight.
Hello, Suggs. Congratulations. Now, not that I want to make you feel old or anything, but I've been a big fan for a long, long time, since I was quite young. You know, I do remember jumping around in the park with my brothers, pretending we were in Baggy Trousers video. But when I think back of your music and all the stuff you've done, it does make me smile, and I think that's something really special that you've always had. You can make other people laugh. And you've inspired me in ways, and, you know, maybe you'll see your influence in some of my work. I don't know. But anyway, have a good night tonight, and you must have a good sense of humour supporting Chelsea. See you later.
I'm still going to have that Boy George, I'll tell you one day.
Really? OK, from the top, Graham McPherson, this is your life. You were born on January the 13th, 1961, in the seaside town of Hastings in Sussex. You're the only child for William and Edwina, known as Eddie. Your father was a photographer, and your mother a jazz singer and occasional barmaid. When you were just 2, your mother was left to raise you alone. For a while you go to live in Liverpool, but then you settle in London. Your mother takes you along to the West End clubs where she was working, and at the age of 5 you go to Park Walk School in Chelsea.
And even then you decided on your pet subject.
Your mother, Eddie. So, Eddie, what was he keen on?
Football. When he was at Park Walk, there was a hamster which belonged to the school, and some parent during the summer holidays had to take this hamster home. And guess who got to take this hamster home? And guess what this hamster was called? Benetti, who happened to be the Chelsea goalkeeper at that time. So, Chelsea fan from that day forward.
Well, you spent your holidays with your mother's relatives in Wales. The sun always seemed to shine in those days. Then in 1969, with money tight, your mother decided you might be better off living with the Welsh branch of the family. You're dispatched to Port Lyon, near Haverfordwest in Pembrokeshire.
And that's how I got a new roommate.
Your cousins Hector, Jane and Sarah, and your aunt Diana Jones. Hector, we have a picture of you and Sarah and Graham, as he was known then. Your cousin was more like a brother to you, wasn't he?
He was indeed, and one of my fondest memories of those days was Suggs, or Graham as he was then. He used to have a pretend storybook under his pillow, and he used to, like, say each story had a different number. So I'd say, can I have number 7 story tonight? And he'd stick his head under the pillow and say, oh, hold on, I'm just looking for it, obviously making a story up as he's going along. And then he'd repeat these stories, you know, like Robinson Crusoe or something like that.
Dinah, your nephew was a bright boy.
Yes, he was very bright, and also was a very talented cartoonist.
And in fact, at one time, we thought he'd make a career because he used to invent strip cartoons. But one of my fondest memories of the 4 children playing in the garden in Wales, and each of them had their own tree in a corner of the garden, and Graham called his the faraway tree after the Enid Blyton book, and also they used to find all sorts of rubbish and laid it out at the foot of the tree as a museum.
Well, your aunt drives the bus which takes you to school in Houghton.
Oh, God, yes.
You become captain of your house, Picton, named after the nearby castle, and you were good at games. In fact, you were a bit of an all-rounder.
The only thing you couldn't do, boy, was sing.
And the last time you heard that voice was when you were 13, your old school pal, Richard Dixon. So, Richard, you wouldn't have forecast a musical career for young Macpherson?
No, I used to stand next to Graham in an assembly in primary school, and so I got to hear his singing voice at a very early age. It's unfair to say that he couldn't sing, but at that time, a career in the music industry wasn't really very obvious.
Well, it was at that time also in Wales, you know, everyone could sing, so you had to be pretty good to be any good. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But you were painting, I remember, at that time, Richard. Did you ever do any more with that?
No, I didn't take it any further. You were not so bad at that yourself.
No, exactly. No, we were both all right at that, and we did nothing with it.
No.
Never mind.
It's great to see you.
Andrew.
Amazing memory. Thank you. Another Welsh speciality is education, and you do well at school. You pass the 11+, and you go to Haverfordwest Grammar School. But after one term, you rejoin your mother in London. You report to Quintin Kynaston Comprehensive School near Swiss Cottage. The children there inspired the first song you write, Baggy Trousers, which became a #3 hit for Madness.
Lots of girls and lots of boys, lots of smells and lots of noise, playing football in the park, kicking push bikes after dark, baggy trousers, dirty shirt, pulling hair and eating dirt, teacher comes through breaking up, back of the end with a plastic cup, oh what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad, all I learned at school was how to play not break the rules.
At first, your good education in Wales keeps you ahead of your classmates in London, but overcrowded classrooms and lack of discipline get in the way. Your mother wants you to become a graphic designer, but you rebel. You bunk off school, start calling yourself Suggs.
How dare you?
Isn't that right?
No, I didn't bunk off. I took time out to pursue other endeavours.
Like music. You hear about a band called the Invaders who are looking for a singer. You go for an audition. The Invaders become Madness. And here tonight are Chris Foreman, Lee Thompson, Woody and Mark Bedford. So, Chris, Suggs' early pop career didn't last very long.
Oh, I remember, yes. He couldn't dance, couldn't sing. Going back weeks. But yeah, he went to a Chelsea match, didn't you, Suggs? Instead of coming to rehearsals like a good boy. And Mike Barson chucked him out the band.
Yeah, the keyboard player chucked me out the band. I just saw an advert in the Melody Maker that said semi-professional bands require semi-professional singers.
We put an advert in the paper and we got all of one call. So we got the job. Basically, we sacked him for going to football.
And he came back, didn't he? He came back.
Hey!
Yeah, hey!
Suggs, by the way, here's the album that I borrowed from you without your permission.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Right, thanks. So you've got the name, you've got the line-up, the music, and Madness is ready to take on the world. So you head for Islington and the Hope and Anchor pub, a well-known music house in North London. John Eichler, you ran the Hope and Anchor. How did you rate them?
Well, like everybody in those days seemed to have a demo tape, and after a couple of months I listened to the tape that they'd given me, and it was quite reasonable, and well, it was. I mean, it wasn't brilliant. No, come on.
Imagine being recommended as quite reasonable.
Yeah. And we didn't have anybody on that Sunday, so we banged it.
But I must say, John was very kind. I think what we got paid was something like £40, and you had monitors at the front to hear your own sound, and I accidentally put my foot through mine. which came to exactly £40. But John actually, out of the goodness of his own heart, gave us 20 quid between us, just because he couldn't see us go home starving.
Bless him.
A fellow musician with ambitions to become a record producer likes your style, and he arranges for you to make your first professional recording.
And what a waste of time that was.
Your friend Clive Langer. So Clive, did something go wrong?
It did, and I blame him, because Woody had a little motorbike, and he got lost on the way to the studio. So we had to abandon the session and find another £200.
That's a whole 200 quid, Noddy.
Yeah, so we had to go and see Mr. Rob Dickens, who then lent us £200, and everything worked out well because we got a hit single out of it, and it came out in two-tone, and it was called The Prince. And it was the first of...
it probably would have been rubbish if we'd recorded it the first time.
Exactly.
But it came out as, like, one of the best songs ever recorded.
So, The Prince was released on the Two-Tone label. Written by Lee Thompson, it was a tribute to reggae star Prince Buster. It reaches number 16 and gets you your first ever appearance on Top of the Pops. You were just 18 years old.
Erupting, but not in Orange Street. A ghost dance is preparing. You got to help us with your feet. If you're not in the mood to dance, step back, grab yourself a seat. This may not be uptown Jamaica, but we promise you a treat.
Over the next 5 years, you notch up a catalogue of hits. 15 make the top 10, including the 1982 #1 House of Fun. Cue the Shades, Pork Pie Hats, and Mad Times.
My girl's mad at me. I didn't want to see the film tonight. Welcome to the House of Fun. Now I've come of age. Welcome to the House of Fun. I hear them say tomorrow's just another day. I hear them say it gets better every day. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. What do we do now? Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. What do we do now? Be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best.
Well, those were all great numbers, and Mark Bedford, this was success beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, and it was a constant sort of merry-go-round of touring, lots of recording as well, and it went on until 1986.
Now, Suggs, in the middle of all this madness, you meet Anne. You marry in Camden on December the 21st, 1981. The next year, Scarlett is born, followed by Viva in 1985. Scarlett, you're born musicians, aren't you?
Yeah, well, me and my sister have always sort of played instruments, like, all our life sort of thing. But I think it is partly because when I was really little and Mum and Dad used to go on tour, they used to make me sleep in a guitar case. And I think that's part of the reason why.
It wasn't shut, though, it was open.
Practically.
A real rockabye baby.
Yeah.
Viva, what are your early memories?
Well, when I was about 8, I went on holiday to Suffolk with my mum and sister. And I got there and realised I'd left my teddy in London. So my dad had to order a cab and send it all the way from London to Suffolk with my teddy in, and it arrived in the front seat with the seatbelt on.
Nice touch. In 1984, Madness set up their own recording business with the label Zarjazz.
Oh, yes.
But in 1986, after 7 years at the top, Madness decided to call it a day. Was it tough to switch off?
Yeah, it was very tough, yes. I think we'd all had such a hectic time for so many years that we started forgetting ourselves whether it was enjoyable or not anymore. And certainly when it was all over, finally, it was very difficult for me because we'd been so close for so long.
Well, after all your time as a performer, you start to work behind the scenes, managing new talent. One of your signings is The Farm. Among your produce is this hit. Together for you tonight, lead singer Peter Hooton and guitarist Keith Mullen. So, Peter, you thought Suggs could help you?
Yeah, well, we met first at the Oxford Road show, I think, in 1985, and I think it was the mutual love of music, football and beer that brought us together initially. But in 1990, we asked him to co-managers and co-producers.
He was like a mentor to us and quite instrumental in leading us to many a drinking den round Camden and the likes.
Well, if nothing else, thank you very much.
Thank you, gents. Thank you very much. Cheers. While you're working with the farm, an interesting plot starts to take shape. 1992 sees the release of a greatest hits album with the great title, Divine Madness. It shoots to #1. It's clear the fans are still out there, and you're asked to reform the band and put on a special concert. Woody, you remember the details?
Yeah, we had to kind of get back together, and Madstock, that we called it, it was an ideal time for us. I think it was just a great show. We did 2 days in a row and, like, to 70-odd thousand people. It was just very exciting.
Well, there have now been 4 Madstocks. Do the farm do livestocks? The music flows. In 1995, you released the solo album The Lone Ranger. You have top 10 hits with I'm Only Sleeping and a cover of Simon & Garfunkel's Cecilia. Then in 1997, a dream comes true, the chance to combine your work and your obsession. You've always been a Chelsea fan, and you're invited to record the team's FA Cup song.
Chelsea, 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 we're gonna make this a blue day. Chelsea, 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 we're gonna make this a blue day.
Still grateful for your backing, an outpouring of emotion and other things from Gianfranco Zola and current team captain Dennis Wise.
Madness, they call it madness.
Hello, Suggs. Welcome on our House of Fun. Welcome to our House of Fun. Well, Suggs, I'm wearing my baggy trousers. I never thought I'd miss you. What is it?
Madness.
But I never thought I'd miss you half as much as I do.
Madness.
Everybody here is as nutty.
Madness.
Everyone here is as naughty as about you, as much as you are about Chelsea. Suggs, we all had a great time recording Blue Day back in '97. Suggs, thank you for all the support over the year. And Suggs, hopefully we'll see you down Stamford Bridge very shortly, and have a great night.
In 1997, there's not only fever on the pitch, you're invited to help raise the temperature as host of the celebrity karaoke TV show Night Fever.
And we're here to sing along a Suggs tonight.
Introducing Tony Blackburn, Francine Lewis, Paul Hendy, Sean Williamson and Pop Monkey. So Suggs has to keep the peace between the boys and the girls.
Absolutely. Well, Night Fever is a very quiet little karaoke show we do on a Saturday night, I think you'll agree, where those of us who think we can sing and dance come on and prove that we actually can't. But apart from that, you've made some fabulous records over the years, all of which I've enjoyed playing. So all the success, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Thank you very much, Tony. You're very kind.
Well, Sean, this is a change of scene for you.
It was, yeah, and I was quite nervous, obviously, and I was quite nervous about meeting the great man himself, because I've been a fan of the guys for years, and within 1 minute of meeting him, you realise he's the most unaffected person in showbiz. He's fantastic and puts you straight at ease, and we had some laughs and a few beers.
We did, didn't we, Sean? We don't want to go into them in too much detail.
Thank you all very much. You're also a regular on the academic music quiz, Never Mind the Buzzcocks, a tribute from team captain Phil Jupitus.
Oi, oi, Suggs, it's been a great life for you. I've been there for many of those moments. I shall never forget when you first said to me, could you stop pushing at the front, please? Some people are getting crushed down here. And another time you said, this one is called baggy trousers. Ah, they were great days. First time I actually met you, though, you tried to sell me a watch. And it's often I look back, I wish I'd bought that watch. And I'm sure you do as well. Anyway, have a good night, mate. And that karaoke challenge, very good. Well done.
Another good friend of yours used to be a chart rival nearly 20 years ago when he was keyboard player with Squeeze, now host of his own music show, Jules Holland.
Dear Suggs, I hope you're very much enjoying your television experience, which is This Is Your Loaf. My mind goes back to the early days, the days when we were two little boys on the streets of London, didn't have much of a future, but somehow we knew music was for us. Between us and all the music we did, we managed to sweep the world with a whole new style. That's you and me, Suggs. It reminds me very much of the Rolf Harris song, Timey Kangaroo Down Boy. There we are, times have changed, we've all moved on. I can't be there to embrace you myself, but I am in spirit. We love you, Suggs. Farewell.
Not long ago, you appeared on Jules' show with someone who I know was a major influence in your life, and that was Ian Dury. As you can imagine, Ian was hoping to be part of tonight's show. Sadly, he didn't make it. You said that without Ian, madness might not have happened.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, definitely. Ian's first band, Kilburn in the High Roads, who made an album called Handsome, had a huge effect on Madness, and the line-up and his sense of humour. And most importantly, the fact that he sang in his own vernacular about places and people who were around him. I think it was Mott the Hoople who said, when they were asked, why did you write All the Way to Memphis, said, well, you can't write a song about Walthamstow, can you? And he did. And he proved them wrong. And certainly for me, he was the most inspiring person I ever came across, yeah.
Well, this evening, I surprised you as you were testing your musical know-how on a question of pop, but it's a toss-up which you know more about, the pop music or the football. Stamford Bridge has been your spiritual home since you were a boy, and here for you tonight, an illustrious band of Chelsea's FA Cup winning heroes, the 1997 captain Dennis Wise and goal scorer Eddie Newton, along with stars of the 1970 team in whose footsteps they followed, Ian Hutchinson, Tommy Baldwin, goal scorer David Webb and captain Ron Harris.
His brother and the practice psychiatrist got to sort this out afterwards.
Thank you. Well done.
Now, Ron, you played for Chelsea for over 20 years. You were captain for 11 years. Do you guys regard him as a true blue?
Yes, but things have changed over the years, because when I was at Chelsea, most of the players, or the majority of the players, were Englishmen. The Chelsea supporters are very, very loyal. I think you're a great ambassador for the club. Well
Thanks
done,
very
mate.
much, Ron. Thank you.
Graham Suggs McPherson, this is your life.
Thank you very much indeed.
And This Is Your Life is back on BBC One in 3 weeks. Comedy tonight, growing old and feeling the strain, men behaving badly in 35 minutes.